Have you ever felt like you're stuck in a rut, maybe working an endless job, or you feel like there's so much more that you could be doing, but you don't know how your wife is going to respond to this idea, or you think your wife isn't going to like anything other than your safe and secure job? That is extremely common. Let's talk about how to talk to your wife about your dream, about your desire to try something new. Starting a side hustle, starting a new job, quitting your job, these are all very large life decisions, and they shouldn't be made in a vacuum and shouldn't be made just by you. When you're married, your wife is a big piece of the picture, and she should be included in this conversation. Unfortunately, this conversation can be very difficult to have, and sometimes we approach it from a very different angle than our wife sees it, and it causes a lot of frustration, anger, fights, but it doesn't have to be like that. Including your wife in these decisions is good, and hearing her opinion is also good. So how do we do this well? Start with I statements. I've been feeling unfulfilled in my current job. I've been dreaming of doing something. I have a lot of goals and I currently can't reach them in this job I'm doing. Or you could also explain some of the other things, like my boss is ridiculous and there's no way I'm ever going to get ahead. I would like an outlet to make more money. Now move on to a little bit more motive. Paint the vision here. I would like to spend more time with our family. By doing this, making this money, I can do that. I would like to pay for more things. I would like it if we could stop living paycheck to paycheck. It would be great if we could finally afford that house that we want, but in my current job we can't. So paint some of the reason why now, because your wife may not fully understand your thought process. Then create a little picture of what you're thinking about doing. I would like to become, we'll say today, a painter. I love painting houses and I would like to become a painter. I have the skill for it and I know we can find customers. Here's how I will find customers. Don't just leave it at, I know we can do it. Explain a little bit of the process. Well, I know that I can advertise this online. I know I can put Facebook posts out there, and I can talk to some of our neighbors who need their houses painted now and start to pick up customers who need their houses painted. I can get started on this maybe on just Saturdays for the first little bit, prove this concept and get that ball rolling. So our risk is pretty low. But know that my ultimate dream would be to make this a full-time job. But we can start it part-time to make sure that we can really make this work. Now that you've painted the picture, let your wife respond. Hear what your wife has to say. And this can be very difficult because when we want to do something and when we're passionate about something, we can get very frustrated and angry hearing the questions. The questions and thoughts from your wife come from two places. One, they don't fully understand, so they're just asking questions to better understand. The second place they come from is fear. Your current job may appear as safe and stable, and typically a wife loves safe and stable. So listen closely, acknowledge what your wife says and have empathy for her concerns. Then, as best you can, answer those questions, not defensively, but answer them. When it comes to, well, what about the income fluctuations? Well, here's how we could handle that. This is what I think. This is what I know. Or maybe you don't have the answer right now and just admit it instead of make something up. You know what? That's a great question. I don't really know how to answer that. But let's look this up. Let's figure this out. Let's see where that answer is and what the answer is. By doing that, your wife will start to get a better understanding and you'll start to help her through those fears. Now, that doesn't mean we rush right into this now. Now, give it a day or two to soak, because most of the time, your wife needs a day or two to really process. And typically within a day or two, There may be a few more questions and a few more comments, but it starts to really formulate. She starts to see the picture. That's when it's time to ask permission, really, to move forward. Okay, so we talked about this a few days ago, and I would really like to move forward. Do you think we could possibly do this where I start painting houses on weekends? And see what the response is. If the answer is no, I really don't want you to, gently ask why. And that always sounds bad, but you have to do it in a nice way. Why is it that you don't want me doing painting on the weekends? Dig in a little bit. She may say, well, because then you won't have time with our family. Well, then address that. How can we make better time for our family while I start this? And work through it. Instead of just get mad about it, work through the barriers. Because the barriers aren't usually in concrete. The barriers are just stopping points, and your wife doesn't know how to formulate the way through it without working together with you. And if all you do is fire cannonballs at her, she'll just build a stronger wall. So when the two of you work together and work through these problems together, you will do much better at working through the idea of building your own business, building your side hustle, and quitting your job. Overall, it is communication, and communication can be very hard, especially when we're passionate about something and it feels like the other person is not passionate about it. Truthfully, if you're passionate about starting like a painting career, your wife probably isn't. And that's okay, because she's not the one doing painting, but you have to explain to her what your passion is and how that will work so that she can at least understand it. And then she may actually come along and like the idea. So I know that's not exactly the easiest way to go, but sometimes the easy way isn't always the best way. Taking a little bit of time to gently communicate with your wife is the best way to be able to work together to help her understand your passion, your desire, and give her a good understanding on why you want to move forward with this side hustle, with this business, and with quitting your job. Ultimately, I know that a side hustle and a new job is a fantastic thing, but your wife doesn't know that yet. So help her through the process. I know you can do this. I believe in you.